Hello. You have done it. You have rid the gates of the Bolgan. As promised, I have another tale to be told. The very first Erengustir arrived here generations ago from Mel Senshir, before the final tower was raised, when the great giants of Cluracan were but saplings. On that very first morning of his arrival, while the sun ascended the sky, Gastir scaled the heights and saw below him the great keep of the merchant Ancilla. Gastir could not bear such an intrusion on his new ancestral homeland and swore an oath. By right of mine and sword in hand, I will not forsake our native land. Now that you've seen Castle Gastir, we should move on to the final stop on our journey. The last thing I want to show you is near the coast, on the cliffs overlooking the sea. It's the best story yet, but again, it must be freed of Bolgan. Goodbye.
Ghosts of youth, the curving plates of fey-like scrolls decorate the life's guard of this impostor. It says, "I am like you, fey spirit," and shimmers with a brilliant gleam. This cuirass of the fey hunter.
Hello? There, you've cleansed this place of the Bolgan. I shall tell you the last tale. The best of the lot. Believe me, these cliffs were made for my story. I've told the tale of the first Erengustir, he who discovered these lands, and I've told the tale of his descendant, the last Erengustir, he who lost these lands. My final tale is that this last lord took a young mistress to his bed, a servant named Wilder Brandon. They had a child he refused to claim as his own. To assuage his guilt, he wrote a royal letter in which he decreed to her and the child great wealth. But rather than take that letter, she took her own life. Here, that woman was my mother. Hear me, friend. I do not have much, but I will offer you all that I have to find me that letter. The letter that broke my mother's heart. I will read it, and I will finally know if what my mother told me was true. Then I will destroy it. I want nothing to do with Augustius. My mother never wanted his kingdom. She only wanted his love. That letter has haunted me for 10 years. I will now be rid of it. Of him. Friends? Yes. I suppose we are friends. I'm not sure where to look for Father's letter. Father. Strange to call him that. I would think he'd keep it near, lest such revelations be discovered. The castle. That would make some sense, wouldn't it? I'll be back at camp. Be careful. I would feel terrible if anything happened to you. I remember my father having a chest near his throne. I always assumed it was where he kept his mother's personal possessions. Goodbye.
Hail. After all this time, I'd just assumed Enodon had abandoned me, that there was no justice left in this world. But here before me stands the hero of Melsenshire, in the skin, fresh from the Baelor's bloodying, and it appears my prayers have been answered. Tell me, how much goodwill do you have left, honored one? Yes, I remember Brune. He was kind. Silly. There weren't many like him in the court. When everyone else was so grim, Brune and his heart never ceased singing. I wonder how he fares now. I am a captain under what is left of General Tulera's army. There are only a handful of us left after Melsenshire, but we press southward toward the Tuatha's lair. However, my quest for justice means more to me than any victory. I have left my soldiers in the capable hands of Captain Canwin. She has moved ahead without me. I grew up behind the walls of this stronghold. All my memories are of its beauty, its security. It was an ideal childhood. Those days have long since passed. When the Tuatha marched, it was Rassinon who killed my family and claimed Castle Gastir as his own. And though he may hold the castle, he will never hold its name. I have devoted my entire life to reclaiming this castle, enlisting in the army, fighting under General Telera, and then breaking free of Melsenshire. This is my destiny. My great-great-grandfather built this keep. You can still find the one stone resting where he laid it in the courtyard. We spent 4 generations in these hallowed halls. Then the Bolgan came, followed by their Tuatha masters. They killed everyone, Fae and Alfar alike. Rassinon was the worst of them. He murdered my mother and now sleeps in my family's chambers. With your help, Honored One, my family will find restitution. You will be rewarded, my friend. We Gastiers have long memories of both our friends and our enemies. Come. Rassinon knows I cannot pass through his gauntlet alone, but together we can avenge Castle Gastir. It has stood here on the Kaled coast for centuries, a testament to the will of my ancestors. Rassinon made it a grave. Now I will make it his. Were you not told the stories as a child of Rassinon the Ravager? Rassinon the Red-Eyed? He was one of the first to give himself to Gadflow. It is my life's work to make him answer for his crimes. Old as I am, he is older. And I don't want him to die without knowing the rage of his killer. The castle has been completely ransacked by the Bolgan, and debris blocks the gate into the castle. We have to go around through the dungeons. Then I will have my revenge. Believe me, it has been far too long in coming. Hurry! Blasted Bolgan. It's not far now. Let's go. Let's go.
Stay down!
He didn't even seem to remember me. I've given my life to finding and killing Rassinon, and he probably didn't even understand why. But now the quest is ended, here, at home. I want you to have everything of mine as a reward, and to help me forget the many years of tragedy that led me to this end. Now go. I need rest. I deserve rest. These old halls have been held too long by the Bolgan. Castle Gestir has been left a ruin. Once this war is over, we will rebuild. My days of blades and battles are behind me. With the aid of people like you, I shall rebuild the Caelid coast. The name Gestir will mean something again. Goodbye.
Hello. You have gone through much to bring me this, only to watch it destroyed. But it must be done. Understand? This letter proves that I am an heir to Gastir, and an heir to his heartlessness. He gave my mother everything, when all she wanted was his love. And now, she's gone. You are my friend. You may not agree, but that is what I choose to believe. You have helped me more than anyone has. I will remember you. I hope you will remember me. She may be the only one truly worthy of the Gastir name, superior to her father in every way. I remember Hill. She and I used to play together in the courtyard. I try not to think of her as a sister. It makes matters all the more confusing. Farewell. I came back to retrieve that letter. Now that I have proof of my past, I can start to build a future. Gastir be damned. Goodbye.
they were genuine friends. We were so young, with nothing in the world to really concern us. There was no place for malice or resentment. I don't care anymore, they're not worth my breath. I was in a place of promise. Lyria's magic shined throughout the halls. New and interesting people were everywhere. None as interesting as that divine spirit. My entire life elsewhere. I know this was a death. Were it not for them, I would never.
How curious. You are mortal, but your steps resound with a burden greater than any one mortal might ever hope to bear. More curious still is your presence here. The great scale is not idly moved, nor is my reverie broken without cause. What is your purpose? Of the Weeping King's disciples, we were the first. Standing on the edge of the midden, we bore witness to him, transforming our people into something more. We vowed to never let that memory fade. Though death did call, we remained in this world, so that the knowledge of the Weeping King persisted. Along with the Weeping King, it was Caelrod with whom I watched the rise of winter. We were fated to be the first tender and delver. I think too long have we been in these contemplations, isolated. When this affair is over, I think we will reunite in earnest. In the beginning, it venerated death, but in time the house was revered by Winter Fae for its sacrifice. Of that order I was the first. I had the strength to answer the Weeping King and take the burden of other Fae, but I could not hear the sorrows within them. And so I was to honor the midden and tend its depths, so that nature would forever know that we have honored her call for decay. The sorrows, they were meant to stand as a monument to the work of the house. And now they stand on being used as a tool for war. Despicable. Caelrod and I have lived long in this world, it is true. But our choice was not driven by some manner of self-preservation. It was to learn. All Fae return their life energy to Ashara on death. But the nature of Winter Fae, their essence, lies in the decomposition and decay of all things. Caelrod and I have forsaken being reborn anew to embrace the rotting of the corporeal world among us. That is where nature truly lies. They are the heart of this collective. A Delver can take the sorrows into their being like the Weeping King did. Becoming a Delver means mastering his art. And so I am finally exhumed. But Bizarane is not the King of Sorrows from whom I hoped to draw summons. Indeed, I know the location of the Sorrows. They were never meant to be retrieved, but neither were they meant to be exploited. Before I go, I must request that you rouse my counterpart, Kaelrod. The ages have sent our paths together. I will not break it now. A penance of sorts. Long ago, Kaelrod and I served the Weeping King. Of Tenders and Delvers, we were the first. But the Weeping King soon left this world for Ashara. And when he did, the house stopped serving death and began serving the court of winter. That was not what we followed the Weeping King for. So we came here to contemplate death. It is what the Weeping King would have intended. When we first came to this place, we vowed we would not see each other until our contemplations were complete. I thought that day would never come. As I was on one side of the scale, you will find him on the other. I will leave this cell and wait for you to find him. The first king of the House of Sorrows, and perhaps the greatest winter fay to walk these lands. He taught us to delve and to bear the burden of winter. But when the realms of winter were freed of this burden, the Weeping King left this world, never to return. It has been long since that transpired. So long, in fact, that I cannot even recall his face or his presence. But it was powerful. Being in his presence was to know the sorrow of our race. He is on the other side of the Great Scale. You will need to rebalance. Goodbye.
Sorrow proceeds, immortal. It is almost enough to shift the great scale on its own. It has been centuries since my reverie was last disturbed. For what cause are you here? What could a mortal possibly want with me? Amalur and I have been apart for some time. I think it will be good when this business is over to resume our meditations together. I was another of the wretches that the Weeping King saved when he first walked into the Feylands. When he pulled the rot of winter from me, I learned how I too could do the same. So I learned the finer points of his magic and followed him as the first Delver. It was formed as a way to keep the winter traditions of decay and rot while building a winter court. But in time, we lost true sight of what the essence of winter was. They are Alarain's orders. In many ways, they are the stewards of the House of Sorrows. While Delvers deal in the spiritual, Tenders see to the corporeal. Among our kind he was, and he remains singular. None could do now what he did, to naturally find the sorrows in others and delve into their being. And though he formed the House of Sorrows, Though he saw the birth of the Court of Winter, he did not remain. By choice or fate, he went to Ashara, never to return. I think this war has exhausted all other Winter Fae who knew the Weeping King as he walked. But though Alarain and I remain, I can scarce recall him. The Sorrows are the inheritance of the House of Sorrows, so to speak. We have been working at delving for centuries, collecting and shaping this magic. But we had never thought that it could be exploited. Do the Tuatha revere nothing? That moniker holds no meaning to a true Fae. What is age to the ageless, to the immortal? Though all of the House are the followers of the Weeping King, the Delvers are his true disciples. They can delve into the sorrows of another, just as he did. I have heard of your work in reaching Alarain. If she wishes to aid this King of Sorrows, then I will echo her approval. But learning the location of the Sorrows is not merely answering a question asked. More than knowledge will be needed to reach the Sorrows. We will meet her in time. You must be patient, mortal. Very well. And so the eldest look upon each other once more. It has been some time since I have seen Alarain mortal. For that I am thankful. But Bizarrain will need more than knowledge to reach Sorrows. He will need a key which lies in Sincere, the hollow of the Weeping King. That is correct. It is a difficult thing to ask of a mortal. A Fae would be better suited to navigate the hollow. But time is fleeting. But you will not perform this task alone. One of us will aid in recovering the key from Sincere, and the other will instruct Bizarrain on how to reach the Sorrows. It falls to you to choose. Not for your end goal. Both of us are familiar with the Weeping King's Hollow. But I wield magic, and Alarain her Fae blades. It will be a hard road, mortal. We can complement your skills or bolster them. Let it be so. She will accompany you to Sincere, and I will return to the House of Sorrows to instruct Bizarrain on how to claim the Sorrows. I wish you luck in your task, mortal. Keep well after Alarain. Very well.
Then we leave Caelrod to the instruction of this King of Sorrows. It is perhaps the best choice. It is suited to him after all. I will shadow step to Sincere and wait for you there. We must move quickly. Goodbye.
There isn't much time.
Greetings, mortal. What brings you to Ancilla? Torture? Imprisonment? Madness? I have been waiting many seasons for the return of my friend and master, Lord Ancilla. Do you know of his whereabouts? Is he well? Immortal Lord Ancilla was good to me, kind. He is the only dustling that has ever taken a true interest in my telling. That is why I served him then, as I do now. I never cared for the telling, and found myself listless and wandering under the canopy of the stars and the forest green. I have no role, no place in any ballad. Lord Ancilla found me in his herb garden one day. I was laughing at the jokes the blossoms told, and he liked me, let me stay and tend the flowers. These were safe lands before Gadflow and the Tuatha. Safe for Fae, at least. We could wander as we wished. Now there is evil under every canopy. I've been here for nearly a season. What would seem like ages to one such as you. I was the alchemist for House Ancilla. You may call me Connie. The Tuatha imprisoned many of the servants and advisors when they invaded 10 years ago. Most of them perished of starvation or disease, poor souls. I am all that is left. Goodbye.
Who are you? And what brings you to this stale hell? I'd rather not discuss it. You wouldn't either if you'd spent the last few days praying to the gods for a way out, hoping to see a shaft of sky through the stone. A shadowy wood creeping with Alfar lore, so thick it can choke you. If it weren't for the army, I never would have come here. Some places in this world are just cursed. I was a bare-knuckle fighter in Rathir before the war. I was good, too. But then the body went, and after that, the whole world plunged into chaos. Damn that man! I knew that shoving him down that pipe wouldn't be enough. So, you're here to rescue our sorry hides. Sounds like we've got our new orders. But we can't leave. Tigneri, the madman who lords over this castle, he will not back down when the Alfar come. He will stay, and he will take many lives. We must kill him now. Otherwise, many of our brothers and sisters in the approaching army will fall prey to his soul-bind curse. It is Tigneri's life's work, a mixture of magic and alchemy that bends the very rules of nature. He plans to use it on the Alfar to strip our forces of their magic. The Tuatha wish to turn Castle Ancilla into another Mel Senshir. We'll need to get into the throne room. And the only way to do that is to raise the portcullis. Once we find the lever, we're in. Let's go. Damn hole in the ground. We must get to the throne room lever before Tigneri knows. Let's go. On to Tigneri. Close. You do good work. That's it then. Tigneri won't be marching all over the Alpha anymore, will he? Uh-oh. You don't look so well, my friend. I'm afraid Tigneri has gone and touched you with the spellbind. A little gift to remember him by. Not to worry. There's bound to be an antidote in the laboratory below. Come along, we shall find it. Chin up. I'd imagine it's hidden somewhere in Tigneri's laboratory. Down in the deeper... Ready?
Another offering for Gaz. Let's finish this.
We're close. We're close.
Another morning.
The strength of contempt, fear, and hate courses through the rushing veins to the very fingertips. The instruments of war are ready, light in the grip, and machinations of the gauntlets of the
This forest is where... What are you doing here? They say Castle Gastier is...
It seems you caused quite a row in Castle Ancilla. I've been watching the Tuatha panic ever since you wriggled through that pipe. Well done. You have my eternal gratitude. Really, there are few who would have done what you did. It would have been an honor to fight beside you at Mel Senshir. Please, take this shield. It is the one thing I made sure they never took from me. That and my dignity. I'll never look at a stronghold the same way again. And the stories always described Ancilla as an elegant place, a home fit for kings. I've learned my lesson. Good luck.
Hello. Welcome back. What can the heir of Ancilla do for you? I was raised here. Strange how small it all seems now. Almost like we were all playing at being lords of this land, and that we never had any real power. Even now I can feel it. The darkness. The place doesn't want us here. It never has. Why else would such tragedy have befallen my family? Every dark corner is cursed. I was only 10 years old when the Bolgan came. All I remember of this place are scattered memories. My mother's screams. My father's blood on my boots. I've devoted every coin of our family fortune to the war effort, knowing that one day I'd return to the coast and reclaim what was mine. We're trickling in from the drowned forest in isolated units. Not a cohesive front, which is a problem. The geography, the foliage, it's a logistical nightmare. Captain Trav was able to force a wedge into the Tuatha defenses, enough to slip into Alabastra. Breaking through is one thing, holding the line is another. Caelid was once a lush, vibrant domain, ruled by my father and his brother Port. It had been in our family for generations, and our subjects were a peaceful people. Of course, the Gastier family was constantly claiming the land as their own, going so far as to build a castle that looked down upon us. Looked down on us. The seal was forged by my great-great-grandmother, the first Clary Ancilla, mother of the Caleb nobles. She crafted it herself from scarab salts and terrenium. The verdant blades belonged to my father. He used them in the many battles fought to secure our borders. They have no equal in Cluricon, or anywhere for that matter. I was hoping you'd volunteer. Getting the heirlooms will be a challenge. You see, they are held in a family lockbox, the key to which is not in my possession. As for the key, I made a mistake. I was young, foolish. The night before the Bolgan came, I gave the key to a girl. She was... how can I put this? My childhood love. Her name is Hilared Gastier. Yes, a Gastier, a sworn enemy of House Ancilla. It was a gesture. I meant to show her what she meant to me. But now, she has what I need. If you can convince Hilared to give you the key, you will need to retrieve the items from the lockbox in the old family fortress of Sea-Watch to the east. Good luck. Now I long to see Hilared again, but my responsibility to my family comes first. The last I saw of Hilared was at the Battle of Mel Senshir. She became a soldier like me. I'm not surprised. She was always tough. Try checking her family's keep, Castle Gastier. She would likely go there. If she survived, that is. Goodbye.
Blessed Lyria, I know you. That's right. The last time I saw you was when you dangled from the Baelor like a drop of spittle on a Bolgan's chin. Mercy! The hero of Melson Shear. I'd know the face anywhere. Let me guess. The army has you out here on a special mission? Me, I'm just trying to live through the nights, trying to find a bit of time to myself. Explore. After you put a dagger into the Baelor at Melson Shear, the rest of us were sent in to mop up the mess made by the Tuatha. We keep pressing south to Alabastra. May the heavens fall! Do you have any idea what these are? These are Lady Ancilla's children, the lost dolls of Lady Ancilla, last bride of House Ancilla. I'd hoped to go on the hunt for these once we drove out the Bolgan, but I don't see that happening in the near future. Maybe we can work together, meaning you keep searching the Kaled coast for the rest of the dolls, and I can compensate you if you find them. The poor hag was driven mad by her isolation out here on the Kaled coast. They say she took the life of her youngest, smothered him with her chamber pillow. After that, it was only a matter of time until every last breath of reason blew out of her. She made the dolls, and they became her new family. I'm from the plains of Erithil, from Combe. My family moved west after the invasion, but I chose instead to fight. I think about them every day. I'd try the Ancilla ruins, and maybe the castle. The dolls were last seen on Lady Ancilla when her family was killed by the Bolgan.
My assistant has returned. What do you need of me? Stay safe.